Here we go. Back into the traditional draft queue and closing in on our 4X of everything. We got our 4X rares. I don't think there's a card that I would take over our rare slot at this point. I'm just pretty much always going to take the gems, pack one, pick one at this point. And suddenly, like, third Kaya in 5 drafts or something like that. All right. So we'll take Kaya. Also, I want to get my... Where'd that view go? There's that view. Deckmaster working? See any votes yet? Maybe because I'm saying it's a straight Kaya, we're not even going to vote, but I want to make sure Deckmaster's actually working. Yep, okay. It's up and working. It's just not visible for me. And there we go. Yeah, okay. Good.
I faced undead horrors. This is child's play.
Undead horrors. That doesn't sound... That's pretty grim. All right, we have all uncommons, rares missing, no signals to divine here. We note that there's no good black here, not in the pack at all. Like, the one black card is Catacomb Crocodile. Draconis likes the Guild Mage. Seems like most people are about the Guild Mage. Angel is arguable as well, since it actually goes with this pick. There's no need to play Kaya, but we did see she impressed me. I'm down with a main deck Kaya and board her out now in Orzhov. I was kind of, before I played with Kaya a couple times, I was on the camp of sideboard, bring her in appropriately, but with the prevalence of Orzhov on Arena, I think, yeah, it seems correct to start her main and then take her out if it's not correct. G-Grap likes the Angel. I was looking at the Angel, and yeah, I'm kind of surprised that that everybody is about the Guild Mage. It's okay. I guess it loots. That's pretty good. Valhalis is also on the Angel plan. There's a vocal contingent for the Angel here, but Cold Grits is stepping in to say no. Senate Guild Mage is amazing. The campaign for the Angel has had some effect here as I'm seeing the numbers shift a little bit. I love Deckmaster. Thank you, Deckmaster dude. I gotta get some Deckmaster dude props. Colin is down with the Angel. I guess I better pick. Oh, now it's neck and neck. So now it's just sending it to me to decide. All right, so now since it's pulled neck and neck, and I was leaning Angel anyway, I'm going to take the Angel. It's more flexible. It'll end up in more picks. If we're supposed to be in Azorius, we'll be fine. Yep, it's a 2-drop. That was really the real pick tension there. They're similarly quality-wise, but you have the 2-drop side versus the monocolored side as being, I think, the big pulls there. Let's check our print run. Everybody watching familiar with the print run? If you don't know what I'm talking about, if you're a lurker, maybe you've never said anything or you're just showing up for the first time, if you don't know what we're talking about with the print run, speak up and I'll explain. Otherwise, I'm going to assume everybody here knows what we're talking about. Sky Tether and Flames of the Raised Boar have Fireblade Artist and Eyes Everywhere. What was taken? Probably must have been Fireblade Artist? Is it respecting Fireblade Artist now? Since when does the AI respect Fireblade Artist? But it never... Eyes Everywhere. It's not Eyes Everywhere. I don't know. Suddenly I'm confused. Yeah, but so did Eyes. Like, both Eyes Everywhere and Fireblade Artist seem like go 7th or whatever. Tether is the card that goes best with what we have so far. Skewer, probably just the best individual card, or Flames. Anybody looking to go into red on the strength of these red cards? Yeah, one vote for a couple votes for Skewer, it looks like. Initial support for Sky Tether has faded. And did we see red in the previous pack? That's a reasonable question. I'm going to say no, since I can't really. We didn't. Skewer's splashable. I mean, Flames is splashable too. 4 damage is big game, but this is like 3 damage. 3 damage sorcery for 3, maybe 1, versus 4 damage for 6 at instant with a chance of bigness. Well, Omnicron, it's a big signal against humans for a third pick Skewer, but it's not a signal necessarily with bots. They just don't, for some reason, value Skewer very highly, so it's possible that bots upstream have taken red cards and passed on Skewer. But Skewer is just a very good Magic card. So Sky Tether, though. This might wheel. I'm going to go... Yeah. I think this stuff is strong enough to pass on the red. I think you're right that these are better, but I think it should be Messenger or Tether because of what we've started with, honestly. And to that end, we have an Angel. Kayak is a win condition that can sit behind, that works with Tether. So Tether might even wheel. I'm going to take the Tether, though. That's where I've landed. We have a binding here that we can take and maybe look to get into Orzhov control. Esper control. Here's a hybrid is the other card that tends to go late. Let's check our print run, though, here. Windstorm. This would be a good place to be able to suss out what's going on here. Oh, and we get some good info. Windstorm Drake on either side has Sunder Shaman and Trollbred Guardian. And then outside of that, Sphinx of New Prov and Orzhov Enforcer. So Windstorm Drake is just surrounded by good stuff. And almost certainly it involves them having taken some green. So that's good to know. And maybe there's an Orzhov Enforcer or a Sphinx involved, but we know for sure there's some green being taken upstream. Yeah, this Sky Tether also fits nicely into this Clear the Mind deck, as is observed, because you don't need to attack through that to win. So we're going to take the binding here. Sure, thanks for speaking up, Fighting. I wanted to make sure everybody knows what's going on there, because it's such an important advantage for Arena players who know about it until such a time as Wizards does something about it. In paper booster drafts and on Magic Online, the order of uncommons in the boosters is randomized enough that there's no predictions you can make based on what's missing, but that's not true with Arena. It's a very rigid, strict ordering of the uncommons in a pack. So if you do a search for Reddit, uncommon, print run, and then set code, RNA, M19, whatever it is, you'll quickly find whatever. Around here, you can just do exclamation point, print, and then code. So to bring up this one, you would go exclamation point, print, RNA, or is it RNA print? I guess we'll find out if I got it right. No, I didn't get it right. It's RNA print then, right? There we go. So you can just look up the card that's left, in this case, Windstorm Drake, and then take a look at the cards around it in the print run. And you can see for sure, you can at least narrow it down to a handful of possible cards. And in some cases, you can nail it down exactly to a very specific card. And no, there's no good reason for WotC doing it that way. Well, I think prioritizing more important things to get done first is a good reason, so that's your good reason. But there's not a logical reason like it makes gameplay better, or we want players who know about this to have an advantage. I don't think it's anything like that. I think it's a booster pack collation system issue that needs to be addressed. There was some debate previously around here whether it qualifies as a feature, whether it's a feature or a bug. It's a feature request or a bug to fix, but it doesn't really matter. It's a thing that WotC needs to do to make the overall experience better. Let's just say that. In the meantime, you should be looking for the print run. Yeah, the commons are not the same way. I don't know exactly how the commons are being handled, but the commons cannot be divined in the same way. No, I'm saying that the cards listed around Windstorm... Yeah, the cards listed around Windstorm Drake have been taken by the bots. With absolute certainty, either a Trollbred Guardian or a Sunder Shaman has been taken out of this pack, with certainty. We don't know whether it went Sunder Shaman Trollbred or Sunder Shaman Sphinx or Trollbred Enforcer, but those are the possibilities. High alert. We could pivot towards the... make this go away, and we can just be Azorius. We'll leave Kaya around to consider, but Oligarch, High Alert are the consideration. Excuse me. I don't know why I didn't even eat much today. Initially some votes for the Cry. I'm really interested whether you see us going in the High Alert direction or the Oligarch direction. Both of these go away from the Clear the Mind direction, right? And Carpe sounds like you're a Cry voter, that you think if it's if we have a chance at Clear the Mind, we just take Cry. Combine Guildmage is missing. That's good to know. I know Dovin's Acuity is next to High Alert as well, so it sounds like Combine is between Cry and High Alert. Yeah. Well, I'll go with voting. I think Carpe, you may be right, but this also might wheel. It's not a very sought-after card, so let's go ahead and take... the chat wants to try High Alert. I'm down. Let's take High Alert, see if that goes somewhere. We can take a Forbidding Spirit, which I always think is pretty meh, whereas a Gate that helps the Esper seems exactly like what the Doctor ordered and exactly what I want to be getting. Take that. I got another chance at that. We can take a Senate Courier, though, to go with our High Alert. What's more valuable? Preparing for a Black Splash or supporting the High Alert? I think supporting the High Alert. Since we've taken that turn, since we've taken this pick, let's let's support that. There is some support for the Gate, and I get it, but I want to move in on this High Alert. Let's support it. I don't think that necessarily means moving in is strong. That seems like I want to go all in. When I just mean I do want to take the big payoffs like Courier. This is a big payoff. These are medium payoffs. Twilight Panther, some support there. Yeah, I actually kind of like, Persistent Practitioners gets a better boost from High Alert. But if we do Esper control-y stuff, Twilight Panther is nice to have on your team. I'm down. So is Grudian. Take Shimmer or Prying. I'm still also willing to pivot. If we get the CTM tools, we can go there. Orzhov Locket getting some support, but... Oh, now the voting's everywhere. Yeah, these are all viable. How black are we is a question we have right now. I'd like to focus in on the Azorius, since we know for sure that that's what we're going to be doing. And so then, yeah, I'll take the take the cheaper card. I don't think we need a thing like Sphinx is fine, but not important. We have an angel already. Oh, this is nice. Ammunition. Embrace #1 or Shimmer #2. I kind of like Embrace if we do end up in Esper control. Like, the Shimmer is maybe more likely to make the deck, but if Embrace matters, it will be more important for the deck, I think. Does that make sense? It's also best of 3, which is where Embrace is a lot better, where you can bring it in against the decks it really hurts. So I think I'm going to take... oh, yeah, that's true. I can't... it's a non-bow with our aura. Thank you. No non-bows allowed. Thanks. I would have caught it before deck building, but no, glad we didn't waste a pick on it. Yeah, it's unplayable with our aura removal. Exposed to Daylight is not unplayable, especially if we do get into the CMT direction, but Thought Collapse is good in everything we're going to end up in. Like, we'll play this in everything. We can get exposes when we want. Let's take the Thought Collapse. It's a more sure thing. Yeah, Carpe's being... I like Carpe's politeness. I've been super underwhelmed by Embrace in decks that run enchantment removal. Folks, it's a non-bow and you should basically never do it, and I just spaced on that. Like, I can't think of the scenario where I would be cool with that. Like, maybe in a world where I had somehow a couple of sweepers, and I was just all card draw and sweepers and removal, and was just... I don't know. Quite a stretch. Well, I guess we're just going to get 4 petitioners. How about that? That would be fun. Now I want four petitioners. Gosh, I might even play this at this point. Well, folks, what do you want to do? We can take gems, but I think we should either pivot towards Acuity, Petitioners, CTM, or double down on High Alert, literally, and take our second High Alert. What do you think? Yeah, Acuity still works in High Alert. It's true. This feels like it's what's going to happen is what always happens. Yeah, I guess if we do the Petitioners thing, we could run both. What are we doing with Acuity right now if we take it? What do we have right now? We have Admonition. Full stop. That is not very exciting to have exactly one card that works with Acuity. For those of you voting for Acuity, are you calculating that? You really think we're going to get there from here? We're going to get from 1 trigger to 1,000,000 or whatever?
Some say I never heard of ya.
I know what that means. Carpe's like, yes, we got it. All right. I'm going to be swayed by the minority vote here. That means we can take this gate. This is making me wish we were Orzhov. Check out this pack. My goodness. Wow. We're not taking Bellhaunt. We're definitely core Azorius. We could take a Gate Colossus. You do not need a lot of gates for the Colossus to be fine. So I think we actually just take the Colossus here, right? I mean, there's some other reasonable stuff, but we just need 3 gates, and I'm happy with the Colossus. IGI. Final payment, though, is where we want to be to try to support Acuity. Terramander's a strong card, and I can see why. Yes, there's a lot of people voting for that. Maybe we can, but I kind of like the final payment for where we're headed, for how we're trying to win. We're looking to go long, and now Gate Colossus, and just don't necessarily think we need this win condition. And then we'd rather have final payment. Yeah, I know this is great. It's just like we're already Gate Colossusing. How are we trying to win? I think that it kind of dictates this pick. Exactly what are we doing here? I feel spread thin. Yeah, it's no problem. All we want to make this deck work are gates, instants, and high toughness creatures. Oh, and creatures that work well with instants. We have to 2-gate payoffs. Yeah, we just want everything. All right, I'm going to take final payment. And good removal, of course. I might have to just gate this up right here. We're going to wheel this Petitioners and just take the Courier. Look at that Blade Juggler, though. Maybe take the Blade Juggler. Ugh. Everybody wants Petitioners, but don't worry, we're going to wheel it. We're doing it all. We're gonna wheel it. We're doing it all. Famous last words. We're gonna wheel it. IGI? Is this really an IGI deck? I don't think it is, but it's not really a 10th. Maybe it's a 10th district. No, we're going to be using the Senate Couriers in that spot. No, yeah, there's nothing else there. I guess I'm staring at nothing else. Happy to take... These are great, but we're slamming the gate. Take a Locket to support the multicolored. And draw extra cards. Grudian... Consign does some work, but it's not an instant, doesn't trigger Acuity or anything. Oh, those 1/3s are wheeling. I can just feel it. The first two did. We gotta, not over mine, but... I mean, Oni, you're speaking, like, old school memes. That's my territory. Like, I remember memes from 15 years ago. I just didn't think you did. All right, we'll take a Locket. Wow, what the... I'm sorry, Rakdos. I'm sorry, Orzhov. We should have been Orzhov. I should have just ignored... Oh, man. Clearly, Orzhov was the seat. We've been pretty good about finding the right seat. And not that we can't take any of these and play any of it. It's just like, where does it all fit into what we're doing here? But... I've been feeling like we get to the end of the draft and that we have found the open seat, that we're in the right place. This doesn't make me feel like we ended up in the right place, though. Everybody's down with the thrall. It's a deck that has high alert in its pile. First Dead Revels, second IGI. I guess we could take... We can take another IGI. There's IGI in it. We don't really have the... Oh, there's a pit. We got a pit back. Orzhov Locket over an Infiltrator, I think. Grudian came back. I like that over the Quench. Drill Bit is even playable, probably. My god. We're not doing too much of this, but we can take the gems. Oh, we didn't get the petitioners back. That is sad. Sorry, folks. I think it was correct to try. Tesa would be a 4/4. Are we doing anything with death? I kind of like. I'm looking at the gems too. Remember, we gotta consider our gem grind, but not really. So let's we'll take the powerful spell for our deck. Really want this insight, but I'm going to take a second Gate Colossus. Ooh. Night Arbiter or another gate. A really, like, we have, we're 4 to the good on gates. That's a really nice number, but, ooh, I would love 5 or 6. Ooh. This may be the hardest pick of a really tough draft. This has been a really tough draft. Yeah, we don't really need a knight with 2 colossi. That's an excellent point, Smash. Valhalla's, thank you so much for the 4-month sub. Valhalla's chosen. Not only is the creator of this... Oh, it's not... I'm not in the right scene to get that. For the Chillbringer meme, but also... Oh, maybe it's just that it's not off. How about that? Does that do it? No. I think I'm pretty sure Valhalla's Chosen was the first ever sub on this stream, so thank you, Valhalla's. But I'm down with the logic that the gate is... It's more important to support the win condition we already have than to get yet another one. Lawmage's Binding, probably the pick here, even over a gate. It's just so good. Sorry, Draconis. You're going to have to settle for a Gate Colossus. Yeah, this pack rules too heavily. Like, I want it all. I want it all. F9er, thank you for the sub. Welcome to the crew. You are now part of the Rat Pack. Hey, we found some insight. We can just take another gate, really. But this is solid. 5 gates towards our 2, these 3 payoffs is fine. Like, I don't need to force the off color when we have an insight to take here. Or the half color, not off color, because we are playing some. Wow, another binding. Yeah, we'll take it. Over the Thrall. Another tether? We're just locking them all down? Yeah, I guess so. I guess we're never playing this. Sweet Jesus! What are you doing to me, bots? Oh my gosh. I don't think I've passed 17 Blade Jugglers before, but here we are. And yeah, here's the Petitioners again, but I think we just need to take the gate, right? Like, this stuff is all very cute and everything, but high alert acuity don't really matter. Now we're just another gate deck. This is another, whatever. Whatever. Late hybrids. Lol hybrid. Quench, I guess? We don't need a giant. Insight came back around. We get it all. And expose. Late expose to add to our arsenal. I like that a lot. Locket. Revels. Only 40 gems in the grind because we took a lot of picks for our pack. In fact, we only got the gems on the first pick on the Kaya. Better than nothing, though. Good news, everyone. We only took one card that we couldn't start. Is that funny? That's very unusual. I've never seen this before. We have some cuts to make, folks. Okay, I'm gonna actually be really harsh with cuts. And I'm gonna assume that we're at our core. Why don't you leave? An Azorius gate deck. Like, that's what we're doing. And then we're going to see what else we're doing. And we just cut everything. I'm going to instead just put a lot of stuff in. What core do we want? Like, I want to start with the core since there's so many playables. And then figure out what direction we want to take it. So we got the lockdown removal. Good card draw. I don't know if couriers are even core. Yeah, I mean, Draconis, like, that's kind of what I'm doing here. Colin wants the GG to work, which is what even? What are we talking about? Guild gates? Oh, I see. Goblin Gathering. I thought you were making a serious suggestion, so I was trying to look through the... Just run it all. Miser's Mountain, run the Gathering. So, where would you all head in this? You know, what are we building on here? Carpe says, to me, I think we are so strong that we want to find our best cards and protect them, which suggests as much draw and control as we can. Okay, like that. F9er says, Grudian plus Revels to help hold the ground till you get Colossus out. I don't know if we need that kind of help when we have Admonition and literally 5 you can't attack me auras. But yeah, we definitely want Thought Collapse. We're definitely going to be countering stuff. I like that. We can bring in... Miser's Mountain. I like it. That's a good band name for sure. So we can get... I think we're just trying to control... Yeah, we want control. We want to build a control deck. So let's build a control deck. That means I don't really want the IGIs here, I don't think. It means the high alert... we do the acuity for sure, along with... or actually, I shouldn't say for sure. Let's make sure we have the 2 insights. We have Admonition. What else do we have that's specifically an instant? Final Payment. In main deck, the Expose, since we're going long. Yeah, that gives us enough. We're pretty crowded at 3. I was going to drop in a Locket, but we also probably want Kaya. We have no Clear the Mines, so we need to win with these Gate Colossi. We can't just loop around forever. Probably just want our Shimmers, right? We're digging to quality. And Couriers continue to stack us up at 3, but maybe in a way that's cool. High Alert is feeling win more for the deck. Like, even though it plays well with the Arbiter and the Couriers, is it really what we're doing here? I don't think so. I'd rather, yeah, the Panther coming in makes some sense for some of that ground defense. Could just play the Grudian, although again we're just super stacked at 3. Want to lock it in. Yeah, maybe we don't need... That's crazy, but maybe we don't need Arbiter because we're just trying to control. What does this give us in creature count? 6? Yeah, Thrall at least flies over tethered creatures, so maybe we should only have the huge and the flying. I don't know about the Dead Revels. I don't know if we have the creatures for it. But yeah, I'm coming. Like, we do have the Colossi, but it's fine to have a little more density. Maybe even for one of these couriers, since we have so much going on at 3. Hang in there, Wujo. I just hadn't got there yet. You the man. Now where are we at? This is like... Anything else we can do here? We got this early action, but what else? We could put in a Quench. Petitioners was a suggestion for early block, but I don't love it. Wujo's no on Quench. Yeah, we're going too long for Quench, right? Arbiter gets through and Fighting Walloon asks, are we planning to pay 5 life to use payment? Probably. And we can do it. We have Acuity and some card draw, some life gain. Yeah, Locket. Again, it's a pretty hefty ask to add to our 3s like that, but it's card draw. It's ramp. It's probably correct. No, we're not going to spectacle the drill bit like ever, are we? I don't think I want drill bit. Yeah. All right. So which locket? Splash locket or main locket? Probably splash, because we'll be able to cash it in eventually, no matter what. And we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guild gates. That's solid. I like that. 3 of them black. Yeah, Locket can play into Tether. That's true. What else here? Check the numbers. Oh, so check black. Sorry. 2, 3, 4, 5, according to it now with the 2 swamp. 6 black. Is that enough? For 1, 2, 3 cards? Sure, that's plenty. In fact, we can probably cut. Can we go to 4? Wujo wants the Azorius. I'm not sure. I like that the Locket adds some free black. Because I feel like we're going to get the combo of black and white in the late game to crack it. Yeah, we can play both Lockets. We got to cut something, but we could. We can cut that. Oh, did I not get it right? Wait, 7... this is underwhelming for white. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 for white. 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, we just need another... Let me get 10, 10. If you want another Locket, you got to give me a cut. What will we be cutting? I don't think I like another Locket. I think I like this. But I don't know if we need a swamp. Do you think we need a swamp? Is 3 gates and a Locket enough for final payment, Kaya, and Thrall? That's fair, Dr. Muscles. I'm not even counting this among what we're trying to do with our black mana. Yeah, Dr. Muscles and Cold Grits are both on cutting Panther. I'm down with that. Let's cut that. I want to cast Kaya when I have 3 mana, 2 of which are white and a black, and she won't immediately die to an attack. So no, we're gonna call this time down. Since we're binding and tethering here. So then what are we adding? We cut the Panther. Yeah, I think Kaya is better than Nilgotten for what we're doing here. I'm sold on Kaya as a main deck choice in this type of deck and then side out. Do we have enough? I'm 6 creature Dead Revels when 2 of the creatures you're looking to get back through gate stuff is yeah, Kaya. Just we're gonna play Kaya, and you'll see. Like I became a believer playing her recently. Not overhyped. I don't want to overhype, but I'm solidly on. Sure, if you can cast her main deck Kaya and then take her out if she proves not useful against your opponent, because she's very, very good in the control matchups. Like I think my big underrating of her was just as being a time bomb, you know, that she just sits there in a control situation, ticking until they're finally exiled enough to just lose to her. Yeah, I agree with Dr. Muscles that I can't quite bring myself to bring in a Dead Revels with 6 creatures, especially when 2 of them I don't really want a Dead Revels. I mean, I would, but yeah, I can exile, clear the mind, and like win those. So how about we could do 2 lockets? We could do one of each locket. Or another courier, put a courier back. Now let's do the locket. Let's try this. Super Control. Let's go, Freck. How you doing? Glad you could join us today. Hope you are well. You're not wrong that there's some non-boish going on with Kaya's graveyard ability and all of the enchantment-based removal that we have, but again, let's see. I don't like Quench in a deck that's looking to go as long as this one is, Rip Rager, because we are... Quench is so bad in the late game. If you're planning to go to the late game, I don't think you want to have Quench in your deck, but if you're playing a tempo aggro Simic type deck, I like it, because if you're casting, you're kind of just, if Quench shows up in those games, it should be good for you, basically. Wujo, that's what who is it? That's what Silic G was just pointing out, and I do think that's a good point. And it does make Kaya worse in this situation, but not a bench to me. Just makes her worse. So, let's try this. Maybe we'll make some changes. That was a tough draft and then a tough build, and gosh, I feel like I'm about ready to go off the air and we haven't played Magic yet. But it was a very interesting draft and a very interesting build, so I'm thankful for that. Let's see where we get with this. I think I have drafted and not played High Alert more than I have drafted and played High Alert, by the way. We'll play first. We got a lot of tap lands, and we want some defensive speed. Keep this. Nothing but the gate so far. We don't know about getting the Colossus back if it dies, but it looks like we'll be able to cast it cheaply at least. Adjust my mic height. I don't know if that changes things for you a little bit, but now it's a little bit better pointed at me. Things change a little bit when I lower the desk. So clearly we're going to final payment the Savant. No, not this. Final payment the Savant. We will pass and accept some damage from the Savant. Need some more blue. Might have to use real removal on the Savant, but hoping to just cast the Colossus. Is there a lunchbox key? I don't know what you mean by... Oh, you mean like to a map? No, I changed them up once and nobody noticed. I was like, if anybody noticed, I'll change these up more. But I completely changed all the lunchbox order and then like nobody noticed, so I haven't bothered since. Oh, you did? Then I'm the one who didn't notice because... right, well, that's fine. I'm not angry at anybody for not noticing. It was just an experiment on my part to see if it was something worth paying attention to because a lot of people cared about it. Do we want to payment the Pteramander? Nah, we won't payment anything yet. We'll probably could tether that though. Man, we're just all gates all the time, but we'll untap with Thought Collapse mana, but we'll actually untap and just play a 4-mana Colossus, right? Unless we see something that suggests we shouldn't. Just trying to figure out if this is a tether moment, because we could tether and then keep final payment up. Yeah, Binding also uses mana efficiently. All right, we'll do that. Sorry, Valis. I don't have to, the crookedness might drive me nuts too. I just don't have to look at it. So yeah, that's a good point. No land. We could lock it, but who are we kidding? We're gonna hope the Colossus sticks. If they tether or bind our Colossus, then we have a great final payment sack. Great. You know, we could tether that, but I think I just want to go lock it and payment and get the attack through. Although we could also just leave up final payment and Thought Collapse. That's pretty powerful as well. See if they actually want to make that trade or if they want to try and race. All right, I think I've changed my mind. I'm gonna save the Collapse. Oh, I was saying trade. I just meant like make them trade their creature for life. But yes, I did not really use the term trade correctly there. Chump. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Make them, see if they want to chump. See if they want to try and race. Looks like they're going to go for the race. In which case, kind of suggests maybe they're going to follow this with a significant threat. But we can't avoid taking 5. So I might as well take the 5 through final payment and try getting rid of the Rendhorn here. Although if they counter this, we pay the 5. Maybe we don't want to risk that. That's too risky. If they have counter, that's really bad for us. So I think we have to let it happen. Yeah, they also have Mystic Mana. That's what occurred to me when I looked and saw that it's an additional cost thing. I just felt like we had to do that. They're continuing to keep up counter mana. But do we care about that? I don't think I care about that. Only thinks we counter this. Good enough to counter. Alright, chat says it's good enough to counter. Alright. I'll follow chat down to hell. Alright, well they didn't counter back, so that's reasonable. Get some life there. Now we can just tether the Rendhorn and make him chump with it, I guess, since we didn't see any counter from them there. We can just make it... Yeah, this is good. Now we can get a Thrall tether turn. I like it. And that's fine with me, too. They get a turn off, but we get... sure thing on what we want to do. And we get the tether with what's left, so yep. If they play another big thing, they could threaten to actually try and trade with the Colossus instead of the misuse of the term I used earlier. But in that case, we have the final payment blowout, which looks like we get. So that's going to be good for us. And an expose that we could use on their locket to do something with it at some point. But this should just actually get the scoop, I expect. This is just dirty. Oh, is there lethal if I do this right? Let's see. What am I not looking at? Maybe I should slow down. Oh, no, this can block, buddy. I do that too, though. Sky Tether is... We're so used to this class of cards that says this means not block. Because of the lunchboxes behind me, Wolf. This shouldn't matter, right? Because we're just going final payment. Target, like... Seratok. Sack this. Taste it. Yes, technically, if we were going to insight, we should have done insight before all of that, but we certainly knew we were going to do that. That was kind of okay. That was maybe all right. No, I do have some uncut sheets, though. Hey, about that Gate Colossus. Well, we won't even show you the second one, will we? Yeah, Wolf, you're not going to be able to identify what's behind me on mobile, are you? Eight, 9, 10... yeah. That technically does it in terms of keeping them alive for a turn. I am gonna sandbag the other Colossus. We could cast it, but I think we'll be lethal here. And one of the ways we might not be is for something to expose anyway. Yeah, Dr. Muscles, that's a good point. Oppo technically had a line with a fairly innocuous common that could have pulled out the win for them there if they'd had it. Yep. A lot of haste and green in this set, unusually. Okay, so we've got the Simic deck, huh? Or is it Gruely? More Simic-y, right? Yeah. So we like our... I don't know what changes, though. We could bring in Consign to the Pit. We could recognize the Death Touchers are better. Maybe worth bringing in here. Like, this is not a Kaya matchup. Maybe we do this. And maybe... Panther and cut one Locket. You like just bringing in, or maybe Consign. Ingrudian. Yeah, let's try that. Omicron likes it as is, huh? Maybe. That's a lot of land. I'm not really fond of 5 landers, especially without our splash color, but we do get a Colossus online for sure quickly. Like it's a 6 mana spell as is. So... But we can't cast this payment, so we're not really doing anything until then. Stranger Colin wants to mull. Aminkron also wants to dump it. Maybe I'm a greedy... Maybe we need a greed icon for me, because I kind of want to keep this. On the draw, we're just going to get more chances to find what we need. Being a game up should not matter at all. We have one. That's what I meant. Like when I said we need a greed emote, like I meant hit the greed emote, folks. You like the keep, so we got to keep. Well, I got some moles. Yeah, I'm waiting on this one because this is a tough one. Interesting. All right, I'm going to throw it back. And I want that binding, but we need land here. All right. Looks like we should be able to survive long enough to find some black. I'm a fan for this hand as a mold of 6. It's not bad as a mold of 6. My favorite kinds of people joke is best in written form.
Some say I never heard of ya. A rap burglar. Some say I never heard of ya.
Valhallas, what are you doing, man? Thank you so much. What a kind soul.
Some say I never heard of ya. A rap burglar.
Did I forget to play a land there or something? I got distracted.
Some say I never
I hope
heard
not.
of ya. A rap burglar.
Thanks, Valhallas. We'll see you.
A rap burglar.
Okay, that's good to get our black splash, and we can do that and tether. Excuse me, tether here. And what are we tethering? That means it's good, Wolf. Ah, he pulled you out of the darkness. Yunra, glad to have you as a sub. Thank you, Valhallas, for your kindness. Sorry, I'm playing a little slow here. Let's see. You would have tethered the 2-power last turn. Yeah, maybe I was being a little greedy there. Maybe I should just do that here. I'm going to do it on the Pteramander now. Grudian can trade on the ground if we need to. Thrall can block. And I will play Grudian here. There's going to be better. Am I just? Sorry, this is where I'm enjoying chat so much. I'm like, this game. I'm not really focusing on the game. So let's focus on the game for a second. Do we really want to trade a Grudian for the stupid Wanderer when we put it in to take care of big stuff and we're about to drop a Thrall, gain some life? Yeah, let's not. They could have the Duelist. I think I was just kind of haphazardly about to throw stuff in the way because I'm not paying attention to the game. Let's. You guys are hilarious, but let's not lose this Magic game. So we could, to get the Thrall down, we could Insight and Gate, and then have Consign next turn. We have Grudian. I am very, very worried about the Duelist, so this Grudian is no guarantee. Oh, it can't block the Ceratok anyway, so that's worth. So we really do need to pit this Ceratok soon. Yeah, it's pretty awkward. Because of our fear of the Duelist, I guess we can send in this. Yeah, we're not even blocking with the Grudian, so we might as well start by attacking with the Grudian, because we're literally not blocking with it, I don't think. Unless we want to put it in front of the Wayfinder now because of this. Which I don't think we want to do. So I'm attacking because I've decided that we're not blocking the Wayfinder, so we might as well attack. And then, yeah, we need to Gate and Insight, and this will give us some options, it will give us some life, and it will give us a sure Consign on the Ceratok next turn. Yeah, Hasty Boys could smack us around, no question, but that's another reason to get to this consign as fast as we can. Oh, I see what you're saying, but I don't... Yeah, that's a good point about that. Yeah. We'll keep that in mind. Maybe the Grudian needs to protect against green haste a little more than I let it do right there. Well, we were going to make a Consign the Pit, or we're going to cast Consign to deal with this Ceratok. It still might be correct. If we drop the Colossus as an answer to the Ceratok, and they answer that answer, then we're kind of just dead to what's going on here. Whereas we can... maybe we take a turn. We could also Thrall. If we Thrall... then we stop the stuff in the air. If we played a land... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... So we played our land. All right. Yeah, I think we have to Thrall now, both for the life and for the air support. And then no attacks. And... note that Oppo didn't play a 5th land, so another thing that should be dictating our decision is knowing, and they did now, but like that they have 4 spells in hand, right? So they've got some gasoline going on also, but we're gonna have to take some risk. If they can remove the Thrall and, like, duelist our Grudian, we're in serious trouble. Okay, that's not great. Oh, why am I... Oh, guys.
All right, everyone, chill.
Props to anybody who told me to change the scene, and then I ignored them, and then they gave up on me. So, do we need to just throw the chump now? I guess we do. Or not the chump, the trade. Grudian on Wayfinder, take 6, go to 6. Don't have an untap pit. That's bad news for us. Is there a way to win that doesn't involve blocking with the Grudian here? I don't think so. So at least we just start here. And then see what we can do on the untap. Knight Arbiter doesn't do it. If we Sphinx's Insight, we end up with 3 mana on a land play. And then what are we hoping to do? We can Consign and go to 1. And then Insight. And then we have the Thrall untapped at least. I think we're dead, but we're not Dobbs. Yeah, if we Colossus to solve the Ceratok, then we can Consign to solve the Chillbringer. And then the Thralls solve the others. That's a good point. So we'll start here. Sure is. Sure is. Yeah, that'll do it. We played to our outs. That was fine. Just got beat. Consign was pretty clunky there. We never really got to fire it off. Maybe that's a reason to try the Panther instead. I guess we didn't see anything worth exposing. We saw just their locket. So yeah, let's take out the expose and put in a panther. I like that. What other CMC 1 did we see? We saw the flyer, but was there anything else that mattered at 1? The tokens, sure. Picks off tokens. Courier. Yeah, maybe courier. I think I kind of like that. Yeah, running. No, I like the shimmer. I'm gonna try cutting the consign. It was pretty clunky, and I try the panther in that role. Couldn't quite pull the trigger on Kaya. Yeah, I mean, it's always clunky, but it was clunky in a really... I don't think I want this to be the tool in the toolbox for that problem clunky. Cool. This is a fine keep. Shimmer on 2 should find us a 3rd land if we don't draw one off the top. Close, but we did. I'm going to accelerate here. We don't need to worry about the boar. Especially since we might not draw a 4th land, in which case we'll be happy to have the locket. Yeah, I saw the removal and got sad, but there was just no question we needed to keep access to land. Okay. I guess we could admonition, but let's just Thought Collapse. We keep Thought Collapse and Final Payment up. Yeah. I hope they play a land and try something sweet. If they want to do nothing, I'll accept doing nothing. But I'll counter just about anything they do here, unless we can just kill it. It's not super impressive, but I'm going to go ahead and counter it. I don't want to do nothing. I could have bound it or whatever, I guess. Just wanted to use the counter. Well, we could, and now I'm going to admonition while we can as well. Look for 6th mana source for that angel. There it is. Also becomes now actually 6th mana source for the Gate Colossus. Yeah, there were reasons to not counter the Griffin, but I really didn't want to do nothing there. And I also didn't want to bind it. They've shown some bounce, so this Colossus might not stay on the battlefield long, but I'm going to go ahead and start with it. Kind of expecting this to go back to our hand here, though. No, I declined to payment the Griffin on the Angel plan, frankly. right, so the Colossus lived, and Ceratoc's annoying again. I guess that's a reason to consider. You know, this death touching plan doesn't work against these against the Ceratoc, but we have tools here. Question is, are we attacking with the Colossus, or are we taking a turn on taking some defensive turns with it? Angel gets us 4 life and some blocking. I kind of want to make the plays that allow us to attack with the Colossus, though, and we can go binding with 3 sources of white. We actually have payment, binding, and angel. Or, sorry, payment, binding, and panther. So I'm going to set up for that. Oh, let's see, that's true. So, but we still at least cast it. So, right, we go... Yeah, I can't do both. Wait, so we go... I get 2 of the 3. I get 2 of the 3. And... I like... Oh, yeah, Locket is... You know, no, the Locket is there, but... We still can't do all 3. So... Find the Ceratoc, and then have payment ready. Yeah, now I'm wishing I had just final paymented the Griffin earlier. Now that feels correct. Let's start with the bind, though. Yeah. I'm not flashing because they're blue. We haven't seen counters, but it doesn't mean they don't have them. There's no need to play it dangerous when you could play it safe. And I guess what we'll do is wait for them to growth chamber the Guardian, though, and we'll final payment the Guardian after that. Growth chamber the Guardian, grow the Guardian, adapt. My words are weird today. What do y'all do with my words? Sure hope they don't have a counter now. Or else we're just dead. That'd be embarrassing. It's like they're thinking about it. Stony Strength, not a counter. Ooh. You go Insight, Panther, but we should just play the Angel so that it can try and trade with this now hefty Griffin and get us a life padding back. I want to cast first to see if we... just make sure this resolves and everything. Like, can we... So, do we attack? If we attack with the Colossus and they have removal for the Angel, we lose. Redhorn is lethal again, but is it no matter what? It's kind of lethal whether we attack or not, right? But if we are playing around removal or bounce or whatever... let's see. We're dead if they hold back and remove Angel anyway. Basically. I think I'm going to be patient for a turn and say no attacks. And they've shown Renhorn, they've shown reasons to be patient here. Duelist was correct, but that was a forced block, really. We didn't have a choice. We'll see what we can find here to help. I guess we start with Shimmer. Even though Insight gains life, we need to pinpoint, find an answer here. Okay, so there's a Binding, which is our answer. That's fair, Carpe, but, you know, there was... I don't know, you'd have to, like, do the actuarial work on that, on what was more likely to happen. Us dying because we attacked, or us dying because we failed to attack, right? You can describe scenarios both ways. But that's important because now we can bind, and we have Twilight Panther plus activation for that boar, if that's an issue. And we can actually start attacking. Yeah, we'll throw it upkeep. Stop. Yeah, we could also do it there. We'll either do it upkeep or at Locket Crack. Well, if they Locket Crack, their shields go down, and that's why we do it then. If not, we do it on upkeep so that if they do have an answer, they spend their mana on their upkeep instead of on our turn. But that just puts shields down and says, do it to it. Unfortunately, there is one of their answers, right? I mean, that's exactly what we were playing around before. I wondered, was that Oppo being clever? Like, we correctly didn't attack, and then they held that sneak attack back? Tip of the cap. We had some tough choices. We did what we could, and looks like Oppo had what they needed. So not the kind of great game I love, but that was a pretty good match. I think there was a lot of interesting magic. That was an interesting draft, an interesting deck build, and then a really challenging a few games to play. So not the desired end result, but certainly emblematic of why I love this here game. All right. Well, we'll sadly adjust the old record. The wrong direction. And send it back. I like our deck a lot. I think our deck is very good. Got a little bit behind there. And maybe there were some lines to not lose. And maybe if we had attacked with that Colossus, we just would have lost a turn earlier. Definitely keeping this. Hoping for one more land. It's our buddy the Shade, and we got our land. Now we're hoping for one more blue so that we can cast our Thought Collapse. Other than that, looking all right here. Unfortunately, they get a free shot at a juggler on 3, but I like our ability to stabilize from here a lot. Wow, that's a tough pick. Kaya's very good against this type of deck. We're pretty far off from actually casting that Colossus. Insight with Acuity seems great. Oh, man. I think Kaya is that good, huh? I mean, obviously I like her enough to put her in, but I love the Insight combining with the Acuity here. No, I do not track that, S. Becker. All right, well... Right, I mean, that's what I was thinking. Like, Kaya seems like a greedy choice to me. I'm going to take Sphinx's Insight. Yeah, but we have Locket. Yeah, Kaya does kill the spirit, it's true, but I don't... The spirit's not a big deal, though, right? Like, I don't care about that card that much. Maybe Kaya was correct, but I'm happy with this. Just dropping Acuity here. I mean, I don't see how a Rakdos deck handles this. We don't want the Insight here, though, where will be flooded. So actually what we want to do is just gate and lock it, I think. Killing it free is decent, absolutely. And honestly, I did not process that Kaya would kill the Shade when I made that decision. It certainly was a point in Kaya's favor, but I'm not sure it would have swayed me off of what we did. I'm happy with where we're at here. I mean, this just looks great. Alright, Kaya could have gotten 2 of them, alright? I admit it. You gonna sack one of those? Please. Oh, yes. Magixon. Maxijon is not going to be happy with how this plays out. Yeah, I suppose if we knew we were getting our lands, Kaya might have been also more appealing. I'm trying to... We're just gonna... We gotta bind this. That leaves us with 3 more, and with 3 more, I guess we have Expose ready, but nothing much else to do other than that. But binding is fine. They can't counter anything, so I will go ahead and wait till their turn. Yeah, I would love it if they played an IGI so that we had something to do with the Expose. Although we would still probably wait to get the Acuity out of it. And seems like maybe a newer player with the way they're activating stuff and like giving us... I mean, heck, maybe we just actually throw a binding on the Shade. We do that? Yeah, we can expose the Acuity, but I just don't see the need to do that right now. It's a fun, fancy play, but this might actually get us something good. And we're in no danger of losing this one. I am going to even just... I don't even care about... Again, I don't care about this Shade, whatever. We're going to drop a Knight Arbiter that can threaten to block the Shade. And yeah, go to our turn. I'm just going to start arbitrating. Arbitrating? Arbitrating? Arbitrating, yeah. I'm gonna start arbitrating. I suppose when one finally plays a creature against Rakdos, they might be able to do something about it. Let's drop another planes. I'll replay Acuity, sure. We could play to lock it, but this is fine. You are a thirsty shade. Oh, I've messed up my setup again by kicking my own cord. One of the problems of seated streaming. Did they get life for anything else, or have we been hit for 13 points by thirsting shades? Let me set some stuff up here. Okay, back to the action. Another plane seems fine. Yeah, we have plenty of ammo to deal with that now. Oh, let's do this, this, and this. And yeah, we'll bind it. See if we can actually win the game. I could tether it, but tethering it, it would eventually be able to pump and block for some effect. Because I was at 8 cards. If I had saved it, I would have had to discard. Now we'll just ditch the expose. No, I'll keep the locket. Locket's cards. Expose wasn't doing anything. But I just want to get the angel going, although we'll have enough left over to Acuity, so I might as well start with the Acuity. Yeah, that's fair, Carpe. It's all card draw, right? It was all doing similar stuff at a similar cost. And I get, like, it's a little bit lazy, but we're not going to lose this game. I mean, I guess, like, how are we losing this game? I guess that's what we should be asking ourselves. I don't even think IGI resolving. I think eventually our Colossi even race IGI. And now I'm going to save gates for, yeah, we lose if we deck, which is why I'm going to save gates to make sure we get our Colossus going. Yeah, Captive Audience could be tough. Don't really want to send the Dodger back. I think I'm just going to let it attack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If we spend 5 of the 8 to try and find a Colossus, the 3 left does not allow us to cast it, although it could. Yeah, we could pop a locket. I'm just trying to figure out if we're doing it at the end of their turn or now. I guess we do it now. Pop a locket on their turn, but if we do it now, we might get something we want to play. Although I guess we don't have anything really we want to play. We can just pass. Yeah, I should look at my... I'm not looking at my tracker to see what's left in the deck as much as I should here. Yeah. I suppose we could make an argument for holding down the Dodger, but I'm still just not worried about it. Grasping Thrall would be a nice draw. We just really want Colossuses to finish this off. There's one. And again, yeah, just holding the gates now to make sure we can put a Colossus back on top of Library. And now the race begins. Now we can actually close this game out. True. X-Star points out. We can even answer answer captive audience now. So we'll just bind the Guild Mage so that it can't activate. Yeah, we could bounce, I suppose. I'm gonna try and close out. We have plenty of ways to, like, draw cards and keep all that stuff going. But at the end of the day, I just want to bind and attack here. Now I'm willing to crack this main. Another attacker, I guess. Well, not sure why they're giving us this block, but I think in case they didn't mean to do this, I'm going to go ahead and block with the Courier. Yeah, I mean, I didn't really care about this result. We could even look, like, if this is important to them, we have answers. They just take away an Acuity trigger, so we got to decide if that's worth it. But I think it's pretty funny and good. Let's go ahead and do this. I'm doing it. Because it keeps them from drawing more answers. Like, denying them a card draw off Bladebrand while keeping an attacker just felt worth it. At least until... We'll see. Well, I think it's going to be a long stream today. I'll say that. Definitely longer than noon. I'll take a lunch break today. Maybe we'll aim for like 2. Do I want to end my turn without doing anything further? Yeah, I guess I do. Opponent would like to end the game without doing anything further, which is also understandable. Okay. It's feeling better. I'm not sure I'm doing my posture any favor with how I'm sitting or anything, but definitely feeling better on the back front. Thank you for asking. Courier seemed good here. We could bring in another one of those. I worry about the IGI, even though we didn't see it. Should we leave that in? Makes me mount the Panther back into... Or the Panther in. Cut a locket for a Panther. Maybe cut both lockets against this matchup. I do like that. Yeah, I like that. Maybe the Grudian is justifiable as well. Just get in the way. I think we'll try this, though. Panther, he showed 2 1/1s for 1, so I like Panther over Grudian because of that. This looks great. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Cold Grits. We'll see how this draft goes. If we take this to 5 or whatever, maybe it's the only thing we do today, but if this doesn't... I mean, we already have 1 match loss, so if this peters out quick, we'll definitely switch gears and do an M19. Definitely Acuity, since we're not throwing a Courier in front of a Grudian anyway. Great. Found not only land, but an untapped source of blue, so we can hold Thought Collapse up if we want. Probably just gonna have to tether that Shaman. Not like we do much blocking, though, actually. We're mostly about spell-based control. Still, that means the creatures we do block with are super important as blockers, so yeah, we're probably gonna end up tethering the Shaman. We can even Courier tether here. We can't... we could tether Collapse. Yeah, that's fair. Tether Collapse is a thing we could have. Since if we tether the Shaman, we're still not blocking with the Courier. Yeah, so tether Collapse makes some sense to me. It just commits us to kind of countering whatever they do. But I'm also okay with committing to countering whatever they do when they only have... Sorry, that was just a talking misclick, not what I intended to tether, of course. But since they're only down to a few cards in hand, we can commit to Thought Collapsing here. And definitely going to do that. Not the worst misclick I've ever done. It still holds down a reasonable creature, but obviously what we want to do with this Shaman is stop it from attacking. 2 Couriers will do a good job on the Shaman, though. And we can keep deploying some gates and get to a nice bonus on the Angel as well. I'm thinking about the Insight, but I'm going to go ahead and start deploying our Couriers so that the Couriers can contain the Shaman if Oppo does some scarier stuff here. Yeah, so it's going to be important to have... Yeah, I'm glad we did it this way, because now the double Courier will not allow this Shaman to go too nuts. And I guess since our other play is Shimmer, we start there. Binding or Thrall? Thrall seems better here if they're doing a go wide strategy, so we'll take the Thrall. And this and Courier. Yeah, sealed is totally not worth it, but it's worth it for entertainment. I'll do anything for entertainment, and if we want to do some sealed, at least our one good point about the sealed for our, we would go to our paid account to do it, and the paid account has 4x of GRN, so we would also get serious gem grind from the packs. Okay, yeah, we'll just play this, and do we want an Angel? Angel or Thrall? Thrall and Angel do similar things, and there is a chance we draw more gates. But this is more mana efficient. I guess I'll be more mana efficient. Yeah, the deck builder is not great for sealed either. That is an excellent point. I tend to end up looking at my sealed decks in chunks and clumps of cards. We're not going that far, Double D's. This also might mean Blade Brand. So I'm not even going to block with the Angel here. I just want to make sure that Shaman dies. What are we doing with 7 land here? We could Insight to try and find an 8th land, which allows us to Colossus and gains us some life. I like that. Let's do that. We're going to find a land, right? There we go. We got an exposed for that. Next. I'm going to send the Angel, but we'll leave the Couriers back to threaten to block. Recluse. Let's see what we've got coming. I like doing this here. We've got the Colossus anyway. Ooh, final payment. And that handles the Rubble Belt. We'll keep that. Yeah, not accuting because I'm not worried about the card draw anymore. I'm just looking to close this out here. Yeah. Maybe I'm not being greedy enough, but I think I'm being greedy for my opponent's life total more than I'm being greedy for cards. Yeah, it was more to see what was coming, I guess. It was playing spells because I had them when I felt that, like, we were just... Really, it was about closing it out with the Colossi. Maybe I should have just held everything then and said, going to run these Colossuses out, and hold everything else back, and if the 8/8s don't get there, then we'll be glad we had these backup spells. Yeah, I mean, I say see what's coming, but really it was just like... right, Hexstar Dragon, it was just like, I was making thoughtless plays because I felt in such command, but it's dangerous, right? I didn't really, if there was a way for Oppo to recover there, I wasn't taking that part seriously. So since we are between matches, and I'm hungry, and we're looking to break up the day into some different content, I'm going to take a lunch break, or at the very least, go prepare some food, bring it back here, and then we'll either play another match or we can do some take a look at another color on the previews. But let me see about a musical excursion whilst I make some food. Hold on. Sure. Sufjan Stevens is one of my favorite artists and performers. He's amazing live. He's right in my wheelhouse of music. He's what... there's been a lot of new subgenres of music that have emerged in the age of streaming services because they categorize all these songs, all these artists downward into smaller groups. And it turns out, like, I think if I had to pick one of these weird small subgenres of music that I love more than any other, it would be what I discovered looking up where they categorized Sufjan Stevens, which is Baroque pop. Baroque pop. Yes, Baroque pop is what I love. But a funny story about this song, Chicago, by Sufjan Stevens, from one of my favorite albums of the last 20 years, Come On, Feel the Illinois. And my son was, let's see, this was 2005. This puts him at 2.5, 3. Maybe he's like 3.5. And we arrive home. This song played on the radio. We listen to KEXP all the time. KEXP plays Chicago. It's the first time any of us have ever heard it. Catches our ear right away, but we're like 2 minutes from home. And we arrive home, and it's a long song, and it's got this chorus where he says "All things go," and I start to turn off the car. I turn off the car, and the song goes away, and Oliver gets really mad, and he's like, "No, I want to hear the song." You know, he's not a baby. He's a toddler. He's a preschooler. He can speak, and so he's like, "No, play the song. All things go, all things go." And so he just saying, "All things go, all things go." He wants to hear it. And so I was like, all right, I respect that. You know, this is my kid. I can tell. And we all enjoyed the song. So I put the car back turned it into start. The radio kicked back in, and we all sat there listening to the end of this song. And it is one of our family favorites. It's a family classic, and we all remember Oliver in the back seat saying, "All things go, all things go." So I don't know if the graphics will work right here, but that's the name of the song. And I will be right back.
All right, everyone.
I've got a chill bringer. Oh, no. So, excuse me. I tend to get a little congestion-y when eat hot food, just even temperature hot food. Okay. Yeah, Valhalla's just made it rain subs and then peace out. So thanks, Valhalla's. So let's see. Do you want to jump right back in, or do you want to take a look at another color? Let's see. I'll do a quick poll. Just a 20-second poll. You only have 20 seconds to vote. We're going to do play or talk, and it's either going to be jump right back into the event and do another match, or we can take a look at the next color in the war previews. Sorry, folks. Thank you. I was never into the Velveteen. I couldn't, but it's not plus or minus. I just don't know them. So maybe they're the band I didn't know I loved all these years. It's true, you did vote for no talking, so I thought that's just what you meant. I'm going to play the Courier because I don't want the Acuity countered. I don't care if the Courier's countered. Well, that's probably going to sneak into us, but nothing we can do about it. I think I will keep the Courier back in case they don't have a gate. But unlikely that we're going to be able to block the sneak. Still, it's worth 1 point. It's worth 1 point of life for the chance that we get to block the sneak. So obviously we have a nice target for the expose, but I also want to see if maybe we can figure out a nice mid-combat blowout instead of just taking it right now. And maybe that starts with dropping a Thrall here, and the next turn we can have Locket and Expose. I don't know how to answer that question. Do I have any bands I wish I was into in hindsight, or like just bands I wish I discovered earlier? Plenty, like every band I discover. We'll stay back again. I mean, because not being into a band as a problem is a correctable situation. You know, you can correct that and just get into them. I'm willing to trade a Courier for a card here. Wouldn't you be? I guess, let's see. It's going to be 5/5. What are they going to do next time? How do we use this Expose to really wreck them? What's the best way to wreck them? Because if we... The mark would be make it a 2/5. We don't have 5 power is the problem, so we can't really just like wreck them with the Expose anymore. Unless we're willing to trade off the Thrall, which we might be. I just don't understand. I'm not sure how important this Courier is. I think it's not as... I don't think it's as important as them getting a card. I'm going to block. You want to see... I just don't want to give him a card. I don't know if that was right, obviously. I spent 12 years tanking on it. Now I wish I had kept it back and we'd have final payment. But we can also final payment main phase here just and be done with this. And then we still have Expose for this later. I like that. Let's not be greedy here. They didn't show Quench before and they don't have 2 blue, so this should be safe. Do I need to lock it first, though? I guess I should lock it first. Maybe that didn't even matter. I guess it shows... Now all I did is expose myself to Quench risk, so maybe that was dumb. But I can avoid that now by playing a land, so dodged that as well. Yay! Getting lucky. I'm going to forget that I'm muted when I'm saving yourselves the torture of hearing me eat. QT and expose. QT and expose sure works, but although the high alert doesn't really matter to us right now. Let's start with the acuity, though. That's pretty obvious. Yeah, I just kind of want to bind. I'm going to bind the Thrall and get in. That's looking good. Insight. Make them sad. Wow. All right. Acuity back. Don't use our black, though. I guess there's not anything for 2 that we can cast for black, but, you know. Sure, we'll shimmer. Argument for just taking, like, the Thought Collapse, but I think if we just take both Gate Colossi, that ought to be enough. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we don't have 10 anyway. So we're going to do Colossus plus probably an Insight, or we can do Colossus plus Expose. Don't need the Insight yet, and the Colossus will handle the Eel. Expose, I like on the Slime Bind over the High Alert at this point. Oh, and yet I did it on the high alert. I am. Maybe it's just a long week. I keep saying one thing, and there's been other ones that were just a UI, kind of a UI misclick. That was just like, I don't know. That's the kind of thing that I think if I wasn't streaming, I would have done too. It's just kind of weird. And again, not the worst. Like, that's a fine thing to get rid of, but yeah, I know. I don't know what's going on with my brain. Give me an old man get out of brain free card on that one. We're still in like fantastic shape, right? I mean, he didn't even need to show him the second Colossus. I mean, part of it is just like overconfident. This is a place I gotta work on my leaking. I think when I get really far ahead is when I make my laziest, most error-prone plays. I'm really terrible when I'm 97% to win. So let's see, what do we want to do about this matchup? They showed some blue, but never really countered anything. Are we just okay to run it back? Obviously, the expose is good. I didn't mind going long with the lockets. Maybe the other courier, since the high alert makes such powerful bodies, the 4 toughness is real. Yeah, I think I like a high alert to add to... Or sorry, a courier to add to our ability to manage them hitting a high alert before we're stable. And I think I can cut one of the lockets for that. That's bad news. We're probably binding it, but even so, the turn-by-turn scry still happens. Oh, good point. The sky tethers are probably not good. We should consider that in the next sideboarding. Thanks for mentioning that. Another gate here. Maybe we want to bind that. I guess they didn't show a ton of gates last game. I'll throw the courier down. Maybe it blocks the sneak. Looks like it would have. Man, I don't know how we just sit here and let a sneak bash us, but letting a 4/4 bash us is pretty bad also. No. So we're not playing Kaya, so I can drop a gate because we aren't playing anything on 4. So where do we want to put this bind? That's the question we're asking ourselves and tanking about right now. Binding the sneak versus saving the bind for the 4/4 flyer. We have an acuity. We have a lot of life, actually. We can probably find an answer to the 4/4 flyer. But sitting here giving them a card turn after turn after turn seems too costly to me. So I'm going to go ahead and bind the sneak. I mean, that's hard, but this is just damage. Like, we can race to our cards and try and find an answer to a damage source, but I don't think we can beat a nonstop flood of card advantage over there. And heck, we can just race, right? Make them have the answer. And then next turn we get Acuity and Kaya, so that seems like the right sequence here. Okay. Kaya's not the play yet. Let's start with our attack. The scry is good, but it's not quite as bad as just a free card a turn, though, right? And I guess we drop the Thrall here. Try to trade with theirs. Omicron, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you're wrong. I like putting out a creature in the air that threatens to trade off with the big 3/3 that they just played. And I do think we make that trade here. Yeah, that bounce makes the race not favorable to us unless we at least try. Not a bad draw. Let's see, 7 mana. I guess we just have to Angel and hope that it lives. We could just take 7. We could play the Colossus and take 7 and then play the Angel. Now, if we do that, we could draw a 2-drop that we get to play along with the angel. 7. No, not really. That doesn't really matter. Well, at least if it's a duelist, the Thrall doesn't eat the angel, they just bounce. So, I'm going to go ahead and play the angel. Good point. Carpe mentions that a reason to play the angel is that it's more admonitions are bad against it. All right, we get an admonition of our own, which is nice, but we don't need that now. I think we go... we could be risky here. If we get any land off of Acuity, we can play the Colossus. Do you want to risk it? And our backup plan is like we have admonition and or Kaya. I mean, our fail case isn't that bad, right? We have other things to do, so let's see if this works. We did. They have quenchable numbers now, but so it goes. Didn't see it before anyway. Now we say no tax because we gotta keep threatening this Thrall. And really hope that the Colossus sticks here. We got enough of a life cushion that I don't think they can do anything to just, like, end the game here. But this is perfect. This was the ideal. That the only move they had was attack with Sphinx, and now we can admonition it. I want to use 2 planes, though. Ooh, and do we even attack? Let's see. How aggro are we? They're going to replay this 4/4. We could threaten a 3/3 flyer, a 3/4, but then they get to attack back with their 3/4. So we don't want to do that. The question is, are we attacking with a Colossus? If they want to double block, I think we want to let them do that. You would have bounced Skitters. I don't care about the ground thing, I guess. I guess it didn't matter to me much. Yeah, it was probably more correct. But if this leads them to double block here, I kind of love that. Actually. So I am going to attack. We'll leave the angel back, though. Acuity, Kaya. Yeah, we'll Kaya now. Although if we're going to Kaya, we should just Shimmer first. Look at all those beauties. Again, I just think a second Colossus is super tough, although let's not be hasty. It may be even more secure to do something else than take a second Colossus. Because we know they're coming down with flyers. And the binding definitely takes care of the peskiest of the flyers. And then the Colossus just kind of gets there. Yeah, Colossus is actually just win more, right? And binding really helps us with the known problem. All right, so we slowed it down and made the right choice. And then we can even... we could wait... Yeah, let's still play Kaya.
Somebody bothering you? I'll make them suffer.
No problem. We have more gates to find. That will come back to us. Let's open on an acuity. Nice. Let's just do it all.
Your goodbyes already.
And this is how Kaya was impressing me when I played her. Like, right, Cold Grits is saying the thing that got me to.
All right, everyone, chill.
That got me to come around a bit on Kaya is that the ultimate is relevant. The ultimate is a real time, a real clock, a real threat. We unfortunately, Kaya's looking like she's going to take some damage here, actually. But what can we do about that? Anything? I mean, we could just ultimate now for the 4. But we have a chance of drawing. Well, then we'll untap the angel, and then it can block. So let's not. We'll go ahead and just accept that Kaya is going to take one hit downward, but that's okay.
Bags and hit the road.
Oh, I can take my own thrall. I guess we're not, we aren't... Yeah, we aren't recurring any thralls, but also the more we put into exile of theirs, the better the ultimate is, so that's why I was still going after...
Usually I'm better at dodging.
Yeah, I was looking to up their exile count with that play. Courier not amazing here, but it gives us 2 things that block the Chillbringer, so could also be worse. And hopefully we can tick back up here and close out with Kaya shortly.
Bye.
Yeah, I was saying having 2 is nice, so that even if they were to like take out 1, because Kaya becomes must kill, and that, again, that is the that is what I started understanding about Kaya that maybe I didn't understand before, is that her inevitability does create a problem for an opponent. You can't really just ignore her unless you are hyper aggro, and even then, if you're hyper aggro, she's pretty good against you because she's gaining life. How about some action, please? Action on the top. Not what I was thinking of exactly, but it qualifies since it gets us our buddy back.
Really good at banishing things.
Yeah, it's like delayed action on top. Oop, whoa, 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 no! Don't, what are you doing, sir? You click the right buttons! They're at 7 in exile now. solid critter. We could ultimate, but no need to ultimate. Oh, I can just end the search. Doesn't even...
Bye-bye.
Oh, I could have done that for life, I guess. The life does... We can do that later. Do that next time. Until they scoop to the Gate Colossus anyway. Oh, you got something? You're looking around. Well, more work for Kaya. Although Kaya is not going to be able to increase. Pegasus will tick Kaya down. Oh, and they're not even going to attack. Okay, yeah, they can't really do that, can they? Well, let's start here. Yeah, why was I thinking I couldn't? I don't know. I guess I thought if they did anything about it. Thought Collapse is great. We'll keep that up and basically be invincible. Shouldn't have let it... Should have made it tap some of these. That was unnecessary. I'm going to go ahead and tether Chili Bee.
You're not welcome here anymore.
That's 9. 9 isn't 10, but we're close. Thought Collapse is going to make it basically... They need two perfect... They need to find something, then I counter it, then they need to find something before we ultimate Kaya. Yeah, Thought Collapse will put a bunch in the grave, so we'll definitely get to 10 exiled, but it's going to take us another cycle of turns, right? We got to up her and then take another turn and down her. And they're scrying, so maybe they find something back-to-back to get out of this, but seems unlikely. Sure, we'll get a... Oh, wait, this wasn't exiled, was it? Okay, good. And I guess we just keep ticking up.
Funny, that's what I do.
And we still have no attacks either, so yep. Yeah, collapse that. Good enough. All right. There's one. Sweet. Got some gems back. We got our 800 plus the 40 we ground. 1 win away from the Holy Grail, the always goal of the 3-win profit. But let's take a look at another color, shall we? It's preview season, after all. God bless us, everyone. Getting left monitor set up. 1 second, please. All right. We ran through black. I won't take 12 years on this. We'll try and cruise through a little faster. Red, on Crop Invader. So this is where the worlds are mixing here. We've got Bolus invading with his Amonketian army. I don't know how many of you care about flavor and story or whatever, but one of the favorite parts of my job at Wizards was that I got all the stories. The story stuff was presented to me in a nice, holistic, really understandable way. It was really great to have the people creating these stories, explain to R&D what was going on in the big group meetings and seeing the cycle. But so for those of you who don't follow story, like Amonkhet was Bolus's homeworld, where he was creating a world where a glorified death was what everybody strove for, but all he was really doing was preparing a zombie army, because you couldn't take a live army through the portals, but you can take a dead army through the portals. So he makes an army of undead so that he can invade Ravnica. So now he's home base, sure. He can be his world, right? It's a world, isn't it? A world. I guess home world implies that's where he was born. Sure. So it's like, also, I'm not really a story guy, so I'm gonna get in trouble for that. Anyway, so it's funny to see this stuff bleeding. So we see Amonketians arriving in Ravnica here. All right. What does it do? 2 and a red, 2/2 creature, zombie warrior, minotaur. As long as it's your turn, card name has first strike. That's a way, by the way, first strike on your turn makes it an offensive ability instead of a defensive one, which is a nice little knob for kind of doing what first strike was meant to be, which was an offensive weapon, not necessarily, I don't know. Bunch of high first striking defenses, not fun to play against. 1, sacrifice another creature. On Crop Invader gets +2/+0 until end of turn. There's one of the sack outlets we were looking for. So it looks like red-black may have a good sack and attack type deck. What do we think of this? I really don't like the 2/2 for 3 as a starting point. I would like this so much more if it were like a 2/3. Of course, toughness on first strike is a powerful. It's not a powerful. It's not a toughness on first strike doesn't make a lot of sense. First strike's almost a replacement for toughness. But yeah, whatever. It's okay. I'm not excited. But I'm excited. What's nice is that since this isn't amazing, if there is a red-black sacrifice deck, you should be able to get it, because this type of card will come around a little bit later, I think. Burning Prophet says 1 and a red for a 1/3 creature human wizard. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, Burning Prophet gets +1/+0 until end of turn, then scry 1. So Spells Matter theme looks like it's back, and that looks like you're probably going to run that in that deck and not very many other places, so you're probably going to get that in your heavy spells deck. Yes, another wizard for that. I don't know if that's good enough for standard, though. Devouring Hellion, 2 and a red for a 2/2 at uncommon. It better be good with those stats. As Devouring Hellion enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice any number of creatures and or planeswalkers. If you do, it enters with twice that many +1/+1 counters on it. Well, there you go. I'm pretty sold. You only need to sacrifice one, and I'm assuming this is build around here. So that if you're building around sacrifice abilities, that you're going to be happy with that. So I'm seeing a lot of cards in red so far. The first 3 red cards all seem narrow to me, which is fine if you end up there, because then you'll probably get them later. But yes, Cold Grits hits on where I think this type of ability, like Stratic was not impressed by this, and it's not very impressive at first blush, and it doesn't have evasion, which is another point. But if you're playing a heavy amass deck, you're going to be happy to snap off your 1/1 army and your army of 1 and make a 4/4 for 3, right? Dreadhorde Arcanist. 1 in a red for a 1/3. We got another one of those. This is rare, though, so Trample usually means they're going to do something, encourage us to make it big. Whenever Dreadhorde Arcanist attacks, you may cast target instant or sorcery card with converted mana cost less than or equal to Dreadhorde Arcanist power from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. I need to reparse that. Whenever it attacks, cast a spell of 1 mana or less, and then exile. Yeah, this is a constructed card, and we're not really playing it unless you need a 1/3 for 2, which you don't usually, but sometimes you do. Grim Initiate. Short West says, so use combat trick pre-combat, then cast it on it again when you attack. No, I think we just don't play it as I think that's what we do. Isn't it your opponent's graveyard? Wait. Oh, your graveyard. Oh, yeah, you could do that, I suppose. That's kind of fancy place. I just think we're not playing that card much. That'd be a fun play, though. Maybe we'll do that before this format is over. Grim Initiate. 1/1 for a red. First strike. Still not there. When it dies, amass 1. Dies into another 1/1. Interesting. First strike. What is this card doing, though? Why does it have first strike if we want it to die? Yeah. He's devourable or whatever, but I don't know. I don't think I'm excited by this guy. But again, we're seeing a lot of support for a sack deck. I guess we like it fine in a sacrifice deck. Fine being like fine, not amazing. Honor the God Pharaoh. 2 in a red for a sorcery that has an additional cost. You must discard a card. You draw 2 cards and amass 1. So one classic R&D trick. You tack on a mana to a known card and give it the set's keyword and call it good. It's just okay. Maybe it depends on how much we're gonna care about that amass. Yeah. Tormenting Voice Plus. I always say that a lot of the job of card designers and R&D is to come up with the mechanics that are worth exactly half a mana, because you want to slap half mana of value on a lot of things to tweak values. So, like, I think this is, like, we've seen that Tormenting Voice is a very good card. It's in Standard. It's in Legacy, right? Maybe. Anyway, the not Legacy. I was Modern, but so it was a pretty good card. If you think of amass as a half mana, you throw that on your pretty good 2-drop and add a mana, and you got it. We now have Invading Manticore at 5 in a red for a 4/5 at common. I hate it so far. When it enters the battlefield, amass 2. So 6/7 worth of stats for 6 mana across 2 bodies. That's decent, but you never really need 6s and 5s, and like, this is just classically, we're just going to pass and pass and pass this, and then maybe sometimes it's going to make our deck, and we don't can't fill it out or something, but I want to place cheaper creatures than this. If I'm going to spend 6 on a creature, I feel like it has to have more impact than this. Cold Grits kind of likes it. We'll see. Again, I think it maybe depends on where you're at with a mass. Krenko is a Tin Street Kingpin for 2 and a red for a 1/2 legendary goblin. And whenever Krenko attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on it, then create a number of 1/1 red goblin creature tokens equal to Krenko's power. Wow. That seems very good, right? Because your minimum is a 2/3 for 3 that has created 2 1/1s, right? That's just like, I mean, you maybe have a spot like your worst case scenario with this dude, assuming that you can cast him at all, is that it's just such a clogged board that it's not even really worth making that first attack. But man, you clear the path for 1 attack with this, and and it's nuts. It's 4/5 for 3, but it has to be attacking. It's 4/5 attacking for 3, which has to be stated. Although the creatures that are the tokens that are created aren't. So I guess its floor is it's an attacking 2/3 and 2 1/1s. Yeah, if he attacks more than once, he gets out of control. Is the bottom line. So snap this dude up and then try to make sure he gets out of control. Nahiri's Stoneblades is 1 and a red for an instant. Up to 2 target creatures each get +2/+0 until end of turn. Looks like there's some go wide tokening here. Nahiri Stoneblades is cheap enough to be a finishing move after you steal their creature and give it haste and attack with everything and all that stuff. Seems pretty fiddly, though. You're not calling its best case scenario a 2-mana Lava Axe-ish type spell is like, yeah, whatever. I don't think we're going to play this much. If there's a lot of first strike, though, it's also worth noting, like, you know, there's a lot of Grim Initiate and Invader. So if there's just a bunch of first strike in red, this does get a lot better because then as a combat trick, it's likely to win combat outright instead of offer trades. Neheb, Dreadhorde Champion, is another legend. 2 red for a 5/4 Trampler. Legendary creature, Zombie Minotaur Warrior. Whenever Neheb, Dreadhorde Champion, deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker, you may discard any number of cards. If you do, draw that many cards and add that much red. Until end of next turn, you don't lose this mana as steps and phases end. Wow, that seems powerful too. I mean, kind of for limited, it's just a big goof, like a nice, efficient, tramply 5/4. But you're probably going to get one lick through, and then you get to filter some. In Constructed, this seems crazy when you get to filter a bunch of lands and bring in a bunch of lightning bolts, you know. But 5/4, yeah, seems fine. Like, this is just a great card that you're going to first pick and try to make work. Yeah. Samut's Sprint is a single red for an instant. Target creature gets +2/+1 and gains haste until end of turn. Scry 1. This has tended to be the type of effect whose card disadvantage does not make up for the rules text. And they keep making them a little bit better and a little bit better. And now, at least this one, with its +2/+1, is like it's almost a full-on combat trick instead of just like, because what you usually see here is +1/+0 and gains haste, and +1/+0 haste. You can't ever really use that as a combat trick, right? Unless you have first strike again. But this you could actually use as a combat trick. So yeah, it's better than Max Velocity, but I never really cast Max Velocity either. But this, yeah. This to throw on a turn 4 Krenko. Oh my god, that's what I want to do. Sometime before this format ends, turn 4 Krenko Samut's Sprint on it. That'd be great. Spells Matter aggro does seem fun. Spellgorger Weird, 2 and a red for a 2/2 at common. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a +1/+1 counter. Okay, they're really pushing the non-creature spell thing in red, so we can expect that as what red and blue are up to. It kind of frequently is. It tends to be, when you look at where abilities overlap in the color pie, the red-blue overlap is one of the tougher parts because tougher pairs, they just don't overlap in a lot of things, and spells matter is kind of the one super solid thing, because it's like it goes, let's see, what do red and blue share? Spells matter and switching power and toughness. Like that's okay. Expensive pump. Yep, looting was another place of overlap. But it's correct for red to have rummage and blue to have loot. It's true. Tybalt is back. He's a rakish investigator. Like, what is he investigating? He doesn't investigate anything. He's a rakish instigator. For 2 and a red for one of the 5 style uncommon planeswalkers. Your opponents can't gain life. And -2 to create a devil, like we've seen, a chump candle. So when it dies, deal 1 to a target. So the value proposition here is 3 mana. We were kind of okay with playing one of these, getting a 1/1 that dies for a point of damage for 1. So getting 2 of those for 3 is a reasonable value for 1 card. But I think this is worse than it looks, actually. But then again, I was never a huge fan of the candle chump either. It's fine, but not amazing. So I guess that's where I land on this. Maybe time will prove me wrong, but I see this as fine, but not amazing. Yeah, Footlight Fiends are playable, Stratic. They are. I'm not saying they're not, which is why I say fine, but not amazing. I guess, I don't know. We're splitting hairs on the quality of what a Footlight Fiend is, and I think I'm just under. I'm below. I'm down on Footlight Fiend relative to conventional wisdom. I think maybe I'm wrong about that. Again, I'm not saying I don't like it. You've seen me play a million of them on this stream. I think of it as a card when it comes my way and I'm in that deck. Great, but I'm not like too worried about it. And Short West says something very important. Footlight Fiend on turn 3 is a lot worse than on turn 1. So that is, again, why I think it looks okay, but I think it's going to not be as good as it may look. Tybalt's Rager. Wow, Tybalt's throwing a party. Rager at Tybalt's house. 1 and red for a 1/2 devil at uncommon. When it dies, deal 1 to any target, and it has 1 and a red activate to get +2/+0 until end of turn. Okay. I don't like these 2-drops that require double mana to pump. It just feels like I'm never pumping them. But they also can get super annoying when suddenly it's the mid-late game and it's threatening to be a 7/2 and you're like, oh man, I guess I have to. It's okay. Decent. I'll give you decent on that. Okay. That's red for you. Let's get back to the battlefield and play some Magic, shall we? We can keep that. Acuity or lock it on 3 seems great. Yeah, it seems like aristocrats could be well supported coming up. Milling is a reasonable concern. We don't exactly have a super fast deck, although we have a nice foil against their own prevention against milling. And they're stuck on land. They might have Quench. What would we... We can't play Kaya. I'm going to go with the Locket. So that we can try to get a Troll down quickly and apply pressure quickly. Yeah, we didn't see a counter pause on the previous one either. We want 6 mana or 5 in the Guild Gate. I guess we start with the Shimmer, and that will tell us a lot. We want the Colossus. And let's go Gate and Acuity. I guess we could go Kaya while we had the window, but I'm... Yeah, I probably should have just Kaya'd. Doesn't look like it's going to be a huge deal in this game with Oppo discarding and whatnot, but slightly better play there. We're not going to mess around, though. We're going right to the Colossus. Yeah, now I just don't even want to show him, as Carpe says. They've had enough. Well, sure, our deck goldfishes really well, but how does it play? Probably didn't pay attention enough. Some people were. They were discarding... we saw Bant, basically, right? Was that Banty? Looks like, you know, with the shield, they are probably trying to mill. We could play our petitioners and try to mill them faster. Yeah, Petitioners works well with Kaya. I don't know if that's worth bringing them in, though, is it? Like, over what? Shield means they do have creatures. You know, it's not like a CMT that way. I'm just going to run this back. I think we're fine. Yeah, I'm a little worried about the tethers, but we didn't necessarily see the evidence for that. So, keep this. Oppo has mold, so not going well for them. Why was that a greed keep? We have Shimmer of Possibility, an island, and a plains, and a locket and stuff. There's no greed keep about this. It's just a keep. Maybe a sneap even. Expose, Sky Tether, or Admonition. Tether? Carpe wants the tether. Yeah, I'm down. It's legit removal, and we can even lock it tether if we need to. We don't know. I guess now we're... Did we have good evidence before that we were against high alert? Like, this is the first time I've seen, besides just the colors, that I felt like... that maybe that's what... Like... I'm not confident that we were up against that. Yeah, I usually assume mill over high alert, but they could just have a high alert in the deck, so maybe that's a reason not to take the tether. Here we're just going to lock it and then not tether the courier, though. No black yet, so can't cast Kaya if we wanted to, although we could Insight if we're going to do that. I mean, I guess we are, so let's try Insight here, see if it resolves. Still not interested in tethering the courier. Wow, they're using mana to activate Vigilance on a courier on our empty board. That's got to be a good sign for us. I mean, it is a good sign for us. And they haven't been showing counters. Let's just try and get this through. Could not hit the Colossus yet. Does that make it worth tethering? Maybe? I still don't really care about it. We're still just trying to see if this gets there. I'm going to wait one turn. We're under no pressure. We've got Sphinx's Insight to get more mana. I'm going to be patient with the tether. Yeah, it's a little bit better of a tether target, but happy to resolve the Colossus while shields are down. We haven't presented them with anything to remove, so I'd be surprised if our Colossus isn't bound or tethered or something here. But they do need those types of cards. It's not like those colors have... maybe it gets bounced. That's another thing that could happen. We just haven't presented them with a creature to interact with much. But they also mulliganed and have been not doing much. But that's why I'm afraid of them. They'd have something here. That often when an opponent is not doing much, what's happening is that they are missing... You're not presenting them with answers to their... or threats to answer. Yeah, we'll definitely tether that. Well, it's funny. They're kind of doing the same thing. It's just that Arbiter's better at it than the Courier. Yeah, we are also seeing a lot of evidence of high alert, so the tether is also only going to be good for a certain amount of time. Start with an attack, though. Let's go ahead and play this. And Insight. And then we can tether. Ooh, well, we could Shimmer instead. We can Shimmer next turn, though. Let's go ahead and tether. Tether while it still does something. Here comes the high alert to immediately make it useless. That's a fine draw. Let's start with a Shimmer, though. Angel does not get us a lot of life, but it's better than, I think, taking Gates here for insurance or whatever. We're going to keep attacking. I know high alert would be really bad for us, but we're going to get a couple more creatures out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What can we do this turn? We can do Arbiter and Akaya this turn. That might be correct this turn. Check that. Maybe replay Gate Colossus. Let's see. Oh, that can't be cast. Yeah, I think we just need to get the Colossus back down here. Threaten that spider. Or try. Yeah. Now we get Angel Kaya, which is better. And a gate to boot. How nice. Could save it to save the Colossus, but I would rather get the... I guess we can't Kaya if we do it this way. No, we still can we? Alright, we still can. Good. Have more mana than I thought.
I like a good fight. Notice I didn't say fair.
Kaya is at risk here. Maybe I shouldn't have even played her.
Risks to bad rubbish.
But oh yeah, that's right. We shimmered last turn. But maybe they'll misplay or get their attacks weirded out because of Kaya. Kaya's not doing much in this situation though. Yeah, so like her upside, if they want to attack Kaya, that's fine for us. Well, we could put the Angel in front of the Guild Mage. I'm sensing some pump, but I don't care because really we have the Colossus. So I'm going to go ahead and hope that they're desperate and that this Guild Mage just suicides.
You better watch your back from here on out.
We're in pretty good shape if they can't find high alert. We can get them for 8, but not for 12. So let's just send in for 8. Oh yeah, did I have a locket crack that I failed to do? That was just bad then. We tapped pretty low though, right? Maybe I couldn't do it there, or are you just saying right now? Let's see. I want to be able to have both of these though. These are fine. So I like cracking the lockets. Wait, 1, 2, 5, 10, 12. So 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. Yeah. We can do Arbiter and crack a locket. Oh, I see. Yeah, well then it's too late. We're just going to do, we'll do this. And I kind of want to bind the spider while the binding is good, because nothing else they have over here blocks the Colossus, and they're tapped out. So I'm going to do that now. Alright, they found something else that can block the Colossus, but it has to chump it at least. And now we can crack lockets looking for game-winning removal, and it looks like they think it wins anyway. Hey, look at that! I was thinking that was game 1 for some reason. And instead we just get to be excited about hitting profit! It's profit, everybody! Profit came to visit. Profit is always welcome at my home. Means our record was 1 win behind. Oh yeah, I forgot the first game. That was our practice, our warm-up. Do you remember, did we go 1-3 or 2-3 yesterday with that that M19 deck? I'm gonna mulligan this. This isn't doing enough. Keep this though. And dropping the shimmer because we don't have blue on 2 yet. And it's not a land, which is what we really want. Yeah, I'll check the VOD later. I thought someone just might, off the top of their head, remember. Somebody hit... when F9er went to the spreadsheet, it reminded me that I had not plugged in the results from yesterday because I didn't pull them over my top of my head. Good job, F9er. Yeah, 60% win rate feels nice, but it's also, like, it's cool to see players even better than me record their win rates and see how much of a gap I have to go. Deathsea's spreadsheet shows about 66%. Do I feel I have the most room for improvement in draft, deck building, or gameplay? Gameplay for sure, although it depends on how you measure it. Like, I mean, the easily my greatest win percentage losses take place during gameplay, but it's also because most of the chances to affect your win rate occur during gameplay. Great, we found land, we got 5. What are we doing here? We have final payment and binding? Yeah, we can do final payment binding. That works. And we can wait on all of that in case they do something worthy of thought collapse. The only thing we have that's not instant speed is Kaya, and we don't want her this turn, so... I guess I did let him do this. So, but if they're, I guess, you know, my thought was if they're using their whole turn on that, that doesn't bum me out that much. So it does bum me out to lose a card, but we can manage. I'm going to ditch this expose, and it's going to mean that they immediately play an IGI, but I can't not ditch the naturalize when they're not showing a naturalize effect. And do this. I'm a little hesitant to final payment for life against to go to 11, but then we drop Kaya and can actually use her and we get some life back, so I think we do it. And we get Kaya and Thought Collapse, so that's pretty cool. As long as it holds the right mana, which it does.
This will be child's play.
Collapse whatever they do, that's going to give fuel to Kaya, and then might need to crack our locket if we don't find some action. But at least the Thought Collapse makes me feel good about being in fine shape when we untap. Unless they just dump a bunch of 2-drops or something here. Yeah, we'll collapse it. Gotta collapse it. And a little protection. That seems better than cracking the locket here. We can crack next turn. I exiled one creature and one non-creature and left one creature and one non-creature so that we get the life gain both times on Kaya if no more creatures go to their yard. I guess it gives them a turn to potentially Dead Revels. Maybe it was a little greedy. 2 life on the Dead Revels chance. I don't know. Maybe that was a little greedy. Did they... Yeah, I don't know.
Dear to you.
Staying back on D. And Kaya can ultimate for 5, for what that's worth. I like that she has basically gotten back the lost mana, you know, the lost life from that final payment.
You call that an attack?
I call this a sad little hand.
You're not welcome here anymore.
I think we bind the caster here. Puts us one removal spell or creature. Ideally, a creature that can protect Kaya would be really nice here.
Again. I dare you.
You got a point. I just kind of went with raw numbers, but the white is probably a better attacker. Yeah, and look, there's a great example. Like, Thrall blocks the dagger caster cleanly, and it does not block the white cleanly.
Bye-bye.
Too many answers from Oppo. I like Kaya in the matchup, but she's dead meat now.
I'm gonna make myself scarce.
Well, maybe this gets us out of it. What do you got for us, a cutie? Get us back in this game. I'm going to save the gate now in case we hit Colossus and it gets killed. We are up against it. That doesn't help. Shimmer. Colossus. Does it turn the tide for us? It is a good blocker. Colossus would stop attacks, but then they sit behind IGI, and we can't really attack. I love the Colossus, but I think we need insight to, because we need actually more answers. We don't. Colossus is just like one blocker, and we'll win eventually. I need to find more than just one thing, so we'll take this. Yeah, I'm gonna play one of these gates now. We'll play this one though. Oh, tethering something. Open on Acuity. Into another Insight. We can tether even after Insight. If we go lock it, then we can Insight but not tether. So I'm going to go Insight tether. Play that. Now we can lock it tether. And we'll assume the amplifier is going to get all big and stuff. I guess not. Still the correct assumption to make. Alright, there's one we can cast. And not sure if we get the other one too, but it doesn't really matter. Oh, I guess if we yeah, I guess we wouldn't have either way. Yes, the priest could be nasty. Good thing it's on the bottom of their library right now. We'll keep that in mind for the future games. Are we just dead? That's a good play. Need a binding or something. Oh, Angel is very nice. Angel, exactly what Dr. Garfield ordered. Can we attack? If we attack, they can only block here. And we have decent blocks on what they're offering as attackers. So yeah, we attack. Next turn, we want to find an instant for that acuity if we can help it. That's big pressure. I don't know if we can overcome that big pressure. We already have our exposed in the graveyard, unfortunately. Can we afford that block? Can we afford not that block? Two other non-bound creatures. Yeah, I think we have to take it because this all these attacks get through. Got to find some action here. Ooh, Tether's good. Let's see what the Locket Crack brings. We definitely are attacking here and here. Oh, did I screw it up? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. No, that only gets us 13. So yeah, it's not like we had lethal. Didn't see lethal. And Tether doesn't actually stop them from being able to block with the Roustabout anyway. Yeah, I gotta do this. Since this doesn't change the clock... Oh, they get the double block. Well, we have the gate to put it on top. Here I am talking about how the tether wouldn't allow the Roustabout to not block while I immediately do that. That's okay, though. That's actually maybe an okay sign for us. We do this. And then we can tether the Groodster. Trying desperately to beat the double inheritance. And I don't know, maybe we killed ourselves by putting the Colossus on top. Sometimes the inheritance math is so hard to figure out on the fly. There's all these drains, all these numbers are moving by one, such that I have a difficult time tracking what's correct, how to even play it in any kind of reasonable time frame. They probably see it. They seem like competent players here. But we'll throw a full control bluff just in case it helps. Help them not see it or choose to do something else. All right, they see it. Let's go a little lower to the ground. Yeah, expose would have been lovely. Kitty? Maybe a kitty? Maybe not kitty. Yeah, I think just this is fine. I was thinking about that, bringing in our own IGIs to counter theirs. Maybe that's correct. Maybe because we have a hard time countering IGI in the ideal way, which is just beating face before they can stabilize with it or close it out. Yeah, the expose was pitched. We were just saying it would have been a blowout if we had had it. I'm feeling a little bit better, and we're closing in on the end here. I'm actually going to move back upwards. We'll summon the dog. Rocket's not barking. That's unusual. He's getting used to this thing. All right. Oppo had to mull. We get a nice expose. We know what we're saving that for. And I love that binding, but we need us gates, and we need... Although our choice here is between the blue for the Thought Collapse and getting our splash color mana now. I have faith that we'll find our blue, so I'm going to take splash color, especially since we're sending another splash color to the bottom.
Extreme, I rock a mic like a vandal, light up the stage and wax a chump like a candle. Dance!
Hasty Vandal. We'd admonition it, but they can make the same play. But that draws us a card and may find us a land. So even though they get to do the same play, I'm going to do this because I really want to find land. And it burns their turn, as Omicron observes. And we found our land, so that's great. Now we have insight if we need to. We can tether and bind. Generally, our defenses are coming into place here. Careful tapping, what does that mean?
To the extreme, I rock a mic like a vandal, light up the stage and wax a chump like a candle. Dance!
What do you think they'll take here? Binding? Colossus if they feel like... Nah, that would be silly. They should not take Colossus. Should we just show it to him? Yeah, I kind of want insight for land. I don't want to let him... this burning tree going unchecked is a real thing, though. I don't like that happening. I do want land, but I really don't want this burning tree vandal attacking anymore. I'm going to tether it. And then we have Law Mage's Binding if they cast anything else that we want to deal with. It's not exactly a card draw, but it's turning on their Spectacle, and they were clearly a bit flooded because they're pitching land. Now we're going to have to accept that and go with discarding the the Colossus and Thought Collapse since we can't cast it right now anyway. Looks like we'll get to recover our lost cards soon enough. Yeah, for one. Just the... nothing else for one. Do this. Playing the Sphinx, they're not pressuring us anyway, so it's a good time to do the spell nonsense we have that doesn't actually affect the board. Just don't do a second one right off the bat. Just give me a little time to deal with that, okay? Sandit Courier looks good against those tokens. I'm going to Brave and Acuity and try to find a land and then Courier. We continue to just kind of need land here, so let's look for it. I'm doing this so that if we get any kind of land, we can find the Courier. Of course, it means that if we don't find land, we don't get the payment with this play, but I'm okay with that. Come on, deck. Land us. There we go. And I like Courier plus Binding over the single play of Juggler or Angel. The Courier threatens both of these, and Binding on the Juggler, while not ideal. Actually, we'll see if they want to do anything. Let's see what they do on their main phase before we even decide if we want to bind. Because right now they don't have good attacks. Unless they want to... Okay, so that does make us want to bind, but instead of binding, we should just sack the Courier and use Final Payment here. Also denies them the scry. And we get the same play. Although now we could make an argument for just going a little bit bigger. And just getting the Angel online. It doesn't make much life right now. Whereas the Night Arbiter attacks for a similar amount. Yeah, we can Night Arbiter and maybe save the Angel for when it gets more life. Wow, this is a very deja vu match in many respects. Seeing a lot of the same spells from both sides. Just so. I'm gonna take this. All right, another land. I don't think we're going to worry about the Colossus this turn. We want to play multiple answers. We have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. If we go 6, 5, 4 with the Locket, we would have 5 mana, which is not enough to do the things that I want to do, which is effectively Bind and Courier. If we play Acuity, that doesn't really do it for us either. So really it's just Binding and Courier if I want to do two things here. I don't think Acuity, Locket, Bind worked as far as you could tell, right? Acuity, Locket, and then Bind, we have 2. We'd have to, yeah, if we found specifically a basic land. But we're now up against it enough that I do want to be ready here. Yeah, you get that. We have 2 bindings. We'll save the next one for that. But this one goes on the roustabout. All right, no attacks is perfect. We have some tension between playing Gates for more life or holding Gates for returning Colossus. But with that producing no attacks, now I'm inclined to Locket. Locket, Gate, Colossus. Oh no, well the Amplifier could get huge. Maybe we should save the Binding. Have the Binding ready. Yeah, I'm going to just pass again. We got the Locket down. I'm going to save the... Yeah, the Amplifier actually doesn't get very big in that deck, does it? Still, I like... We could just... Yeah, they need to hit 4+ power to get through the Colossus. Am I doing fancy play? But yeah, alright, fine. We'll do it. We'll play the Colossus. Colossus is a biggie. Another get the point? Maybe. Ooh, good sideboard choice. I like it. TH God, nice work. I think we're just dead. See? You talked me out of it. I blame Carpe. Is that fair? Blame Carpe for this one? It matters to me if I could blame Carpe, is all I'm saying. Nice sideboarding from Oppo. Did some Colossus judo and killed us with our own big guy. Dr. Cultra, it is largely a bad card unless you know exactly what you're trying to do with it. In that case, I'm pretty sure Oppo brought that in. It is a fine finishing play against control decks that are playing a small number of creatures like we are and just trying to get big stuff through. And it's good if you're specifically, doing sack and steal type strategies, but it's not a card you just randomly throw in a red deck. It's not even a card you just randomly throw in a red aggressive deck. It's a card you consider boarding into your red aggressive deck when it's exactly the right matchup. Yeah. But hey, I'm not complaining at all. We made profit on this one. We got to our 3 wins. You cannot sour my mood when we get all of our gems back on this account. So let's claim the prize. 1,500, and we get to go gemify via packs as well. There's a 20. Another. Yep. I respect the waiting till 10 speed open, but a lot of viewers like the pack opening. And when I'm trying to grind gems, it's important because these could have been a given mythic, in which case, we might want to use our 2 mythic rare wild cards in the future differently. So I always try to open the packs. But that was a straight additional 80, right? So we got 80 to tack on to the gem grind. So a gem grind of 120 makes us pure profit of 120. And that's pretty sweet, folks. We are continuing to rock it with the free-to-play account. I'm hoping to basically stay on track for